Welcome to section 1.7, Prefixes and Equalities. In this one we're going to look a little bit closer at the metric system and then some of the associations and ways to get back and forth between the metric system and our English system. Prefixes are something that are really nice in the SI and metric system because you can put a prefix in front of any unit and you know how much you're going to increase that by. What I mean is that the prefix for milli, which is 1,000th of something, and micro is 100,000th of something. If I can put milli in front of gram, and I know that it takes 1,000 of those to be 1 gram. I can put it in front of liter. And if a milliliter, I know that is 1,000th of a liter, or it takes 1,000 of those to equal a liter. Same thing with microgram, microliter, micro whatever. Okay, I know what that relationship is, and so I can just use those prefixes instead of having to write out all the numbers. And so what I do is I can put that in front of the value, and then it tells you if you've got kilometers, you know that that's 1,000 meters. And so once you learn these, it's very simple to look at the information and know exactly what you're talking about. And so here are some of these prefixes. This is on the big side. A giga, you hear giga sometimes, gigabytes. Okay, gigabytes is what? A billion. That's 10 to the 9th, right? A mega is 10 to the 6th, which is a million. Kilo is 10 to the 3rd. That's 1,000. Okay? And so it can be a kilometer or kilometer. It could be a kilogram. And you'd know that is 1 times 10 to the 3rd, whatever, meter, gram, whatever it's in front of. And so giga, mega, and kilo. And tera, now we have terabytes in our devices too. That's 10 to the 12th. Okay? On the small side, that is the side that's less than 1, you can have deci, which is 0.1, centa, we've already seen centimeters, which is 1/100th of a meter, milli, which is 1,000th, micro, nano, and pico. Okay, and so 10 to the minus 1, 10 to the minus 2, milli, 10 to the minus 3, 10 to the minus 6. When you're using these, I'll always think about, okay, which one's bigger? Okay, whichever one is bigger, you need less of that than the other one. What do I mean? Okay, well, go ahead and try these. And then when you come back, I'll explain what I'm talking about. So you can use your table to do this, okay? But you really do need to memorize some of these. For example, when I was saying, remember which one's bigger. Okay, so what they're looking for is what prefix do you use in front of this M if you're going to show a relationship. If you've got 1,000 meters, that's the same as 1 what? Okay, 1,000 meters is going to be equal to 1 something that's bigger than a meter. Okay, so it's not going to be a millimeter, it's going to be a what? A kilometer or a kilometer. Okay, 1 kilometer is the same as 1,000 meters. Kilo is bigger. All right, 1 times 10 to the minus 3 grams, that's small. Okay, so whatever we're comparing that to is going to be bigger. So 1 times 10 to the minus 3 grams is what? 1 milligram. Okay. 0.01 meters, that's small. Okay, If it's only, so if it's going to be one of these, 0.01 meters is going to be what? 1 centimeter. Am I right? Check me. Sometimes I'm not. All right. I think we're good. All right. So when we're measuring these things, this helps us a lot. Okay? Because when we're measuring length, we can use meters, centimeters, and millimeters. You're going to be using this in one of the lab exercises where you use a meter stick to measure something, and you'll see that the meter stick is divided into centimeters, and then the centimeters are divided into millimeters because there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So you'll see 100 centimeters on the meter stick, and then you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the centimeters, and then in between there's 10 millimeters for every centimeter. Okay, so you'll be able to count the numbers in between each centimeter to see if you've got 2.5 centimeters or 32.7 centimeters. Okay, and so when we're measuring that, it's important that we keep in mind what is going on, okay? And so we just look at the, whenever you start to measure something, you look at whatever you're using and make sure you know what units you have. When you're measuring volume, I mentioned a graduated cylinder earlier. We're going to be using that. We may use other things too, but 1 liter is equal to 10 deciliters. 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. You're going to see milliliters a lot. And 1 deciliter is equal to 100 milliliters. Deci equals 100. A cubic centimeter, which is a cc. Have you ever heard of that? If you've been in medicine much, you've probably heard of a cc. That's what they're talking about, a cubic centimeter. That is the volume of a cube whose dimensions are 1 by 1 by 1 centimeter. Okay? Now, something to tuck away is that a cubic centimeter is exactly the same as a cc, which is also exactly the same as a milliliter, and so we use those interchangeably. So if they're asking you for an answer to a problem in cubic centimeters and you have milliliters, you don't have to do anything because they're the same. You just can change the ml to cm to the 3rd power, and there you go. And this is a little graphic showing you that 1 centimeter, 1 cubic centimeter here, if I can get it, okay, is the same volume as 1 milliliter, okay? And so you might see a milliliter in a syringe, you might see it in a graduated cylinder, but 1 cc, 1 cubic centimeter, 1 milliliter, all the same. 1,000 cubic centimeters is also 1,000 milliliters, and that's also equal to 1 liter. Okay? So 1 cubic centimeter is the same as 1 cc, is the same as 1 milliliter. 1,000 cubic centimeters is equal to 1,000 milliliters, which is equal to a liter. That's our volume. Measuring mass, a kilogram is 1,000 grams. 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams. 1 gram is 100 centigrams. 1 milligram is 1,000 micrograms. Okay? So identify which of these units is larger. Okay? Go ahead and put us on pause and come back. Okay, which is bigger? A millimeter or a centimeter? Which is bigger, larger? A centimeter, that's right. Which is bigger, kilogram or centigram? Well, this is what? 100 of a gram, and this is 1,000 grams. Okay, so which one's bigger? Kilo, milliliter, or microliter? This one is 10 to the minus 3 liters. This one is 10 to the minus 6 liters. So which one's bigger? Milliliters. That's right. It takes 1,000 microliters to make 1 milliliter. And that's it for section 1.7. If you're not too tired, move on to 1.8. Otherwise, I'll be talking to you soon.